I'm Anthony J. Mohr. For 27 years, from 1994 to 2021, I was a judge on the Superior Court of California in the County of Los Angeles. I retired in 21 and became a fellow at Harvard University in the Advanced Leadership Initiative. And that was a one-year program. And when it was over, I decided to become a part-time judge, which you can do in California. It's called sitting on assignment. And so periodically, not that often, but periodically, I do sit on assignment. In fact, I'm talking to you right now from the chambers where I am temporarily handling a calendar. So the other thing I'm still doing is for the Harvard program, I'm a senior editor of what they call the Advanced Leadership Initiative Social Impact Review. I'm in charge of commentaries and editorials. The title is Every Other Weekend, Coming of Age with Two Different Dads. And it's just that. My parents divorced when I was 9 years old. And 2 years later, when I was 11, they both remarried. My mother remarried a businessman, a very conservative guy who ran a company that made business machines. My father was an actor. And unlike my stepfather, who was very conservative, my father was always a bon vivant liberal, loved Adlai Stevenson, worked for Bobby Kennedy when he ran for president, and just two opposite people as much as you could be. I was encouraged to write the book by family friends who were literary agents. Unfortunately, neither is alive anymore, but back in the 70s and 80s, they urged me to do it. And I said, no, I'm too busy being a lawyer and practicing. Then I said, no, I'm too busy being a judge. But finally, when the pandemic settled in, I retired, I decided, I should write this book. I was inspired to do it. I went also to a creative writing conference called the Community of Writers. It used to be known as the Squaw Valley Workshop. And a couple of people there encouraged me to do this. So I did it. That was the inspiration. A number of things. First, I engaged in what I would call laid-back interviewing of people who either knew one father or the other. Hardly anybody knew both fathers. But I would talk to those who were still around. Many were unfortunately not alive when I began the project. But I talked to them and made lots and lots of notes. I also talked to my siblings. I had step-siblings. I'm an only child, but I had step-siblings on both sides. And I had lengthy conversations with them along the way. And again, after the conversations, I sit down and make as many notes as I could put down and remember, because they had lots of insights about both. And they had a lot of incidents and anecdotes they wanted to share, which I could work into the book. And I talked to friends of mine from school, because I wanted to kind of light up the era, the Los Angeles, West Los Angeles of the mid-'60s. Other research process, local newspapers. I found a few and looked through them. One actually covered a child's program on TV where I appeared in the early 50s, in 1952. And they mentioned me and things I said on the air, which of course I didn't remember. So that was helpful. The Margaret Herrick Library is a treasure trove for Hollywood movie, TV, memorabilia, and facts. And I went through there and got a lot of information. Fortunately, I saved a lot of things from school papers, the yearbook, even some assignments from various classes, and they helped me out. And I listened to music. Music is a great trigger of memory, and it worked for me. Also, sights, sounds, tastes, all of those from time to time can trigger a memory, and I tried to make use of all of those. Believe it or not, for me, it's relaxing. I like playing around with sentences. I just trying to be lyrical and do something more than just write a subject and a predicate. And what I like even more, fortunately, is revising. There's something to just looking at a page and looking at the words and saying, okay, I'm going to use word B instead of word A. I'm going to use this paragraph here instead of there. I'm going to knock out these 3 paragraphs and put 3 more in. And to me, it's enjoyable. It takes time. It's not easy, but it's very satisfying if you come up with a product that you think is good. let's assume you want to be a gourmet cook. All right. You don't just start by inviting 40 people to a dinner party. You start slow. You learn a few recipes. And then when you feel ready, you maybe invite 1 or 2 people over for dinner. And if that succeeds, you invite 2 couples over for dinner, and maybe then 3. And you build up to that big dinner party of 40 people or whatever it's going to be. And it's the same thing here. If you want to write a book, start today and start slow. Start slowly. Practice. Go to a creative writing workshop or 2 or 3. There are many books that talk about writing. Stephen King has one called On Writing. I think Anne Lamott wrote one called Bird by Bird. There are others. Mary Carr wrote a book called The Art of Memoir. Vivian Gornick has a book called The Situation and the Story. These focus more on nonfiction than fiction, although Stephen King's is all about fiction too. But read those, read the masters. They know what they're talking about, and they'll help you become a good writer and ultimately put together a book that we hope would sell. Online, Amazon has it, Barnes & Noble has it, IndieBound has it, Thrift Books has it. In the LA area, a couple of bookstores have it. Chevalier's book is carrying it. Gatsby's book has it. And Barnes & Noble and Studio City, they've got it. Those are the 3 I know have it, maybe elsewhere, but those are the 3. But certainly online, it's there, it's available. And if you want it, please go get it. And thank you for listening.